Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your business to six figures and beyond. Pow! So I'm so excited today. I'm going to talk about some strategies. Strategies along with your mindset and my favorite formula when I talk about OBARD, offer, buyer, avenue, relationship, and teaming. That's my trademark formula that I used for years and years and years to win government contracts, and it's just done wonders for me. So when I look at my strategies, I look at several things, and I'm going to give you 6 things in this video, some things that I have implemented myself that work for me. Ready? Let's go. So I am going to first tell you, just so I make sure I don't miss anything, I'm going to kind of refer to a couple of my notes that I have. I like to make sure I give you the most accurate information, would work for me, would work for my students, would work from other people that I've met that have been doing government for a while. So the first thing is, one of the strategies, number 1, is matching your NAICS code with the bid, making sure that what's on there you can do. So when we're looking at doing state, we're looking at our NIGPS. And when we're doing our federal, we're looking at NAICS codes. So we're looking at our NAICS codes to make sure that we're able to provide the service. Now, let's say you feel comfortable and you do not do what the bid is talking about, but you feel comfortable with being able to win that bid and do the middleman. Well, I've done various videos on that. I'll do many more on making sure that you can still find someone that can perform those services if you're looking at subcontracting to someone else, which is the middleman, that you can still provide those services and that you feel comfortable, because ultimately the contract's in your name. So do not think that you can win that contract so easily and then go get, your drink and you're sitting on the beach and you're what we call a WFA, working from anywhere. I've been able to do that with my government contracts, my private contracts, state contracts, because I'd done it for a while. Normally, I work with the individuals that were my subcontractors for a while, like a year or two. Got to know their work. They got to know me. I could then trust being somewhere and not having to be right there with them, because ultimately that contract's in my name. It's my company, my reputation. So that's the one thing I want you to just understand how that works. It's not as simple as just putting anyone in there and just going and doing your own thing. Yes, it will allow you to leverage just like you would your employees, but you have to make sure that you're a good fit for them and they're a great fit for you. And that is usually determined after some time. The next thing is, I love this one, filtering by contract size. So I always focus on up to 250K. That's my sweet spot. So around 25,000 to 250K. That's the one I'm looking for when you're a new company, you've never won. You'd be surprised how many contractors, buyers will give you a go with no past performance. I was at a conference, which I'll share just this past week. I was talking to the Veteran Affairs rep. And the first thing he asked me when I went up there, when I just came up and said, how do I win my first contract? First thing he asked me is, do you have any past performance? And I said, well, how do you get past performance if you can't win a contract? Well, people will go into the fact that you want to work with a company and become a sub. That will give you past performance. That's true. I did that as well. I worked as a subcontractor for someone else, and I was able to get great past performances. The other thing is, sometimes a government buyer will give you a go if they think you're going to do a good job, and they can give you something under the 250, a small one, 50K, 25. Just get your feet wet with that agency, get your foot in the door, get a liking to how they operate, how the rhythm is, and you'd be surprised how that will just run. So if I had to say how I'm going to win my first contract, I would say either subcontracting a little bit larger or coming in as a sub, as a prime with a small one. The next thing I want to look at is making sure that and this is kind of depending on you, eliminating any bids that don't fit what you already have. So, for instance, if it's requiring a larger insurance policy than you have, let's say workman's comp, or it's requiring a general GL insurance of $5 million and you only have $1 million. Should you take it or not? Well, that's where I was talking about knowing if you're profitable, go or no go. Already have that figured out. What does it take? How long is it going to take? That'll let you know if you want to do it or not. Sometimes you will not want to pass it up because you know that if you can win, you're going to be able to afford it. Normally, you don't have to have it until you start the contract. So you may not need that GL increase until you've been awarded it, and you know that you can, if you see my previous videos, you can borrow some money from some friends or get a small loan or something like that so that you know you're going to have that money coming in. I don't recommend that until you know what your, expenses are, your revenue, your budget, all of that. There's a lot that goes into that. But make that determination wisely by adding up what you need and so on and so forth. But sometimes you may not want to eliminate a bid because you don't have what's required because you know that you can obtain it. And once you get paid, you're good. So that may be something that you can look forward to, is that maybe others may eliminate an opportunity that you can go after because you have your funding and everything in place. The other thing we want to do is start with bids that are my favorite local agency. I am a fan of being local. Why? Because I can build the relationship. Some of us come across shy. We might need more than one time. I know this guy that was outstanding when it came to doing the work. I mean, I'd never seen a better contractor. But when it came to marketing his business, he was not that great. He'd climb, he'd get really nervous and he'd clam up and he would just be, tongue-tied. And he just didn't come across like he knew what he was doing, although he did. That was something that we get to work on and got better at. But if you're with someone and you only get one time to make a great impression, you fly in for this conference into the DC conference, or say you come to one of my conferences and there's some government buyers there and they only get that one time to interact with you, you may not make a great first impression. But if you're local, you can go in again and again and you can build that relationship and you may not feel the pressure because now you can take a deep breath. You can see them again. So if you don't do well the first time, you can look forward to looking at meeting and seeing them again. So that always helps. So start local with a small one. Local, small. And then you want to also seek those certifications in the state. Still may be a little bit up in the air. I know that federal's still doing certs. As of when I'm doing this video, they're still doing certifications. They're doing small business. They're giving them a higher percentage. They're doing, veteran and hub zone and all of those. They're giving, so just get to know what the percentages are. I think they're like 5% or something like that. And for small businesses, self-certified small businesses, they may be doing 20%. So get to kind of know what the percentages are. But in your state, you may get really, really great points for woman business enterprise, small disadvantaged business enterprise, minority business enterprise. They may still be really, really great opportunities for you when it comes to that. So why does that work? Because it lowers the competition. And a lot of these may be more profitable for you. The other thing is, I love this one. Check the bid history. Make sure you look at the bid history of the award tabulations. Look for awarded bids and bids that have vendors that give you the pricing. I know some people will reach out to me and they'll say, Miss M, I'm bidding on something. We'll kind of go through it and then we'll find out they've not looked at the previous bid. They haven't looked at who won, how long they did it, kind of triage that company to see what they have. Are they similar to them? Are they real large where there's no way they probably could win the bid because who had the previous bid was very large? What is the pricing? Why do you want to do this? You want to, I know some people that get that close to winning every time. Everything else is great, but the bidding, they overbid usually all the time. Some people underbid and they can't sustain the bid. They can't do the work. So I've had a lot of my clients that, oh, Miss M, I want to bid. I want this. I want it. I'm like, no. You may not be able to keep it. And now you destroy that reputation. And they'll hold out and the other company will lose and they'll end up coming to the second bidder that, second person that won the bid as far as bidding. So this has happened on numerous occasions. I know here with a couple of our clients in Virginia for some different contracts they had. So know what the bids are. Put in awarded bids, get to know the company before you, the pricing and all that. And the fifth thing is, I love this one. I want to remember that I did this so many times. You want a filter for repeatable business. One of the things I love about government is that if you're able to find a contract that is repeatable, so you can filter for contracts that are multi-year. I know one of the ways I was able to scale my business to 6 figures and beyond, rather quickly was because I found bids that were multi-year bids, repeatable bids, support contracts, maintenance contracts, because when I started out, I did facility support services. So those are regular contracts. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to do a one-time. I put in some one-time bids, one time this, one time that. But the bulk of my money, I wanted a percentage to come from, a certain percentage come from an agency. Not too much from one agency, not too much from one-time projects. I wanted to have repeatable, recurring work. So I had a varied amount of different types. I had one-time deals, might be $166,000, $30,000 that were one-time projects. Then I had some that were ongoing. So I didn't have to do the hunt and the chase for contracts. So all 5 of these, I gave you 5, are really, really great ways, strategies, or I think I gave you 5 or 6, really great strategies that can help you win government contracts now. Now, if you'd like to know more, guess what you can do? Yep, you got it. You can sign up for my weekly Govcon Lunch and Learn every Wednesday live, 12 noon Eastern time. I usually have you on there for about 40 minutes, giving you a lot of what I'm doing now, but I give you a lot more, as I like to say, eye level, and not just only what we look at. I give you eye level and not just high level. So I'd love, love, love to see you there. And if you like what I do, please subscribe. Please click the like and subscribe. And I'd love, love, love to see you at some of the Govcon Lunch and Learns. So until next time, be safe, take care, and bye-bye.